Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Chelsea 1, Krasnodar 1. Chelsea finishing their group the way they began it with a draw at Stamford Bridge. That wasn't an exhilarating watch, was it? It was a pretty emotionless game, at least for me. In terms of watching a Chelsea game, I haven't felt that lack of emotion and sort of passion and almost nerves for quite a while. I don't feel I'll be feeling that lack of emotion again for quite a while. Unfortunately, it seems like the players got the memo about the sort of occasion. Going into it, it was a complete dead rubber. There was really no stakes for Chelsea in this game, apart from sort of pride, performance, having fans there, but also, keeping this unbeaten run going, maybe getting another win, making it 5 wins out of 6. But to be honest, we lacked urgency. The game lacked urgency. The mood of the game, it was like a procession. It was pretty much just going through the motions. There were some impressive performances of note that I'll get into. The likes of Tino Anjorin especially and Billy Gilmour, both young players coming into the first team tonight and both had glimpses in the first team last season, but I felt were very impressive tonight. I feel those are the two noteworthy sort of performances from a Chelsea perspective. But yeah, I think other things for me about this game was looking at that defence. I mean, I praised them last week and they didn't do a lot wrong tonight. Of course, that goal, having Kepa in goal and his first shot on target faced in the Champions League this season, he concedes. Just the type of goal we conceded there was the type of goal we conceded far too often last season. And looking at that back five tonight, that was almost like a first choice back five last season. Now they are firmly a second choice back five. And I think it says so much about the development we've seen in defence this season. That type of goal, the sort of the passive nature of that defending, which we saw in the early stages of this game. Luckily, it sharpened up over the game and Chelsea got better in that sense and took control a bit more. But that lack of urgency and sort of calmness and almost dominance and assurance in that area, you just don't see that as much anymore when we see the first choice back four of Reece James, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma and Ben Chilwell and of course Mendy in goal. I don't feel you'll be seeing that type of goal again with the defence we have this season. So it was a bit of a shame in that sense. Jorginho, of course, scoring the penalty once again after missing a couple recently. Good for him, but I felt overall his performance was pretty disappointing, to be honest, in midfield. Another thing I want to point out is, in terms of Mateo Kovacic's role in the winning of that penalty, of course, Tammy Abraham being fouled, obvious penalty. Looking at from Simon Johnson from The Athletic tweeting this, that 3 straight games now where Kovacic has played a key role in a goal for Chelsea. Assist for Giroud versus Rennes, key pass to Werner for Pulisic's goal versus Leeds, and now pass to Abraham for the penalty. I think instead of Rennes, of course, he means Sevilla, I think, last week, obviously, in the Champions League. So Kova's still playing a role. He got subs pretty early on in the second half, so I'm sure he'll be starting at the weekend as well. 10 changes, so many changes going into this game. As I say, I think for me, the star performers for Chelsea are Billy Gilmour and especially Tino Anjorin. Gilmour was better in the first half for me. Chelsea released this touch map in the first half of Billy Gilmour. He was expectedly everywhere. I just love the direct nature of Billy Gilmour. He was playing in a little bit more of an advanced role in a midfield three. Last season, we saw him in that deeper role in the midfield three, and that's sort of the hope is he can maybe rotate of Kante. But I just love, what I love about Gilmour, and it's similar to Anjorin, very direct players. When they get the ball, there's no messing around. When Gilmour gets the ball, he looks to pass it quickly, sharply, even if that's sometimes forcing it back to defence, like centre-backs like Rudiger or Christensen. He always is looking to do things very quickly and very incisively and get it done quickly, which is what I like. And unfortunately, players like Jorginho tonight don't have that same sort of urgency tonight for me, and that's a bit disappointing. And I feel that's what's going to benefit Gilmour in the long run. Also, there were several moments in the first half where Gilmour got the ball, turned, looked forward, either played a really intelligent pass into the feet of, say, Tammy Abraham or fellow attackers, or just made a good run. He's got that mobility to do that from deep, and I think that's really impressive. Tino Anjorin, on the other hand, of course, has the mobility and as well the intelligence. I think he made some really good passes tonight. Probably should have had an assist for Kai Havertz in the second half. Unfortunately, Havertz taking too much of a heavy touch. That probably should have been the winner for Chelsea, and Anjorin could have got an assist. It was a really impressive and mature display from Tino Anjorin, playing on the the left of a front three. Interestingly, what I found interesting was, of course, Tino Anjorin can potentially play that. We've heard reports that Frank was looking at him in that role, which he started and played mostly tonight. But as well, cutting in from that left, drifting into central areas. This is what we see from the first team that plays in the Premier League, shifting positions. And I felt that tactically, Tino Anjorin was very impressive tonight in terms of the positions he took up, that fluidity of movement. And another player like Gilmour, I can see getting a lot more minutes potentially, even in brief cameo roles. I think that he took his chance tonight, Tino Anjorin. Probably should have had an assist, looked bright in moments, and I think was Chelsea's probably man in the match tonight. I don't know if you guys disagree, but he was the one player in a really dull game that got me off my seat, to be honest. It was a bit of a shame, I think, for the likes of, say, Kai Havertz. I felt this was a good night for him to potentially flourish a bit more. I feel this game was lacking the pace of, say, Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's such a shame Callum wasn't ready for this game. Apparently, it's not a long-term injury like, say, Ziyech potentially, but this was a game, I think, crying out for a bit more width and sort of a directness from the wings. Unfortunately, playing both Anjorin and Havertz in sort of wider roles in this system, I don't think helped Chelsea in sort of off-the-ball runners. A lot of the time you saw Kai Havertz more drifting into that central role in sort of almost a number 10, getting the ball from deep and trying to run from a more central role. At times he did cut in from the right, but I felt that we lacked something there, and you felt like a player like Callum, especially in recent form, could have really helped Chelsea potentially unlock the door. Unfortunately as well, it was a disappointing night in front of goal for Tammy Abraham. I felt he should have scored in the first half when he went round the keeper. Kai setting him up well for that and probably should have scored. And there were several moments in the second half as well where I felt he should have done better with chances. Also anticipation. This is still part of his game that I think needs work in terms of balls across the box. I feel he still sometimes is late, either in terms of jumping for a ball, in terms of timing of his run. There was a late moment after Timo Werner came on where Timo got the ball and just drove at the Krasnodar defence, cut the ball across the goal, was going for goal, but Tammy probably should have been there and that would have been an easy tap in. I feel that's an area where, say, Olivier Giroud excels a lot more in his game, and it's that sort of mentality and maturity that I think Tammy's going to have to learn a lot more if he wants to get in the first team again, because he's probably lost his spot now to Olivier Giroud. So it was a bit of a shame for Tammy. I felt there were some other moments Tammy in the first half linking up play well. It was a really dull game, wasn't it? I mean, in terms of me speaking about the game in depth and sort of speaking quite passionately about it, it's quite hard to do. In terms of you see the depth and you see sort of the quality and that chemistry we see with the first team at the moment. Even when, say, Giroud, Kante and Werner came on, you saw that urgency within the team. I just think it's an important night for Frank Lampard at the moment to have this night to rest some real key players. The likes of Mason not playing at all tonight, Ben Chilwell, Reece James, that whole back four not playing, Mendy getting a rest. It's so key. I was a little bit stunned. I did say in my not team selector, my Let's Talk Chelsea earlier today, that I felt that Pulisic could have played tonight just to get that fitness up. Interesting that he didn't play at all. So I'd be looking out for Saturday for him to start that game potentially now, because he didn't play tonight. I also felt, in terms of Jorginho, once again, I just think we lack now rhythm and tempo and even creativity. I mean, even when Kante came off the bench, there was a moment where Kante got the ball from deep, drove forward and almost set up a chance for Tammy Abraham. And unfortunately, Jorginho, I think, has just lost that now. And that's why Kante is playing in that role. We know why he's in that role in terms of intercepting in defensive attributes, but even creatively, I think Kante just offers even more in terms of getting the ball forward, which is part of his game that people underrate. I think context is everything. Obviously, in a game like this, in terms of occasion, there were some players who played last week against Sevilla and played really well. So with it being a dead rubber, it probably is hard to get yourself up for a game like this. I'd just be intrigued to see moving forward, of these players who started tonight, who's going to get the chance, say, off the bench to break into the first team. It's going to be interesting. I feel that Morecambe FA Cup game in the new year, I look at Tino Anjorin once again and I see an opportunity for him in that game. I see an opportunity for Billy Gilmour, who we know Lampard rates very highly and can potentially be that deeper midfield option if we need to rest Kante, switch things out. I mean, based on the performance tonight, I think I'd rather have Gilmour in that deeper role than Jorginho, and I think that says a lot about Jorginho's form this season and also Gilmour impressing after return. Please let me know your opinions on this. Of course, Chelsea now, we know already, through to the knockout stages, top of the group, a massive improvement from last season in the Champions League group game. It's been a really good group for Chelsea. Let's hope now we are rewarded with a good draw, but there are always some difficult teams in the Champions League, so we can't know who we're going to get. Hopefully we'll find out pretty soon, and hopefully it's a decent draw. But let me know your opinions on the performance, your man of the match, all that good stuff in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter at SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.